Hi, I'm Catherine Llewellyn, the host of the podcast. You can find out all about Truth and Transcendence on truthandtranscendence.com. And you can find out all about me on beingspace.world, where you will find my online coaching offering, as well as my UK-based workshops. The Freedom of Spirit workshop for liberation and empowerment, the Pellower Radical Shift in Consciousness workshop for spiritual expansion, and transformational coaching for exploring the mind-body-spirit connection on the expansive path. You can also support the podcast by actually making a donation. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to Truth and Transcendence. You can find all our other episodes on truthandtranscendence.com. So today I want to talk about our vibe or our vibration. I think the use of the word vibe as a description for what it's like being around somebody or what someone's presence is like was first used probably in the 1950s, something like that. And a lot of us have forgotten that the word vibe actually is a shortening of the word vibration. And we cast it around and we don't really think about what we're saying. What we're probably actually saying is that the energetic vibration and resonance of ourselves or someone else we're thinking about can actually be felt. It can be experienced. And it can be experienced as pleasurable or not pleasurable, attractive or not attractive, appealing or not appealing. So if we think about, okay, I want to have the vibration and the resonance that is going to feel really good for me and that's going to feel good for other people and be encouraging for other people. What we'll tend to do in our progress-oriented culture is to imagine that what that means is we have to change. In order to change our vibration, that we need to change. Now, that is one way of doing it. But actually, the most powerful way and the easiest way and the most readily available way to shift our vibration is to simply tell the truth to ourselves about what is already the case at the moment. And you may know people in your life who have a supreme degree of self-acceptance, self-awareness and self-acceptance, who are not constantly striving to be different or to change or to get better or to fix themselves or to succeed at something. They have a beautiful quality of presence, beingness, present moment manifestation. All of that comes from being in a place of actually looking within and looking without at one's life and actually acknowledging what we notice, what we experience, and how things are now, and then just letting any ideas about changing it or improving it or fixing it melt away. So if you consider this now in your own life, if you consider what are the areas in which you're trying to change yourself? What are the areas in which you're trying to change your life? And just reflect on those for a second. And then say to yourself, okay, that's fine. I want to make those changes. Absolutely fine. Now, let's look at how things are right now. How am I? How do I feel in my body? How does my energy feel? How is my health? How is my vibration within myself? How am I experiencing myself? If I were going to describe my perception of myself right now in this moment, what would I say? And now can I move into a place of completely loving myself exactly as I am, completely accepting the truth of whatever is so for me at the moment, even if, and perhaps especially if, what is so at the moment includes a lot of questions, a lot of unanswered curiosity, confusion, bewilderment. All of that may be part of what's actually true. Part of what's true could be, I don't know everything that's true at the moment. So that's another layer of deep self-acceptance and acceptance of what is true now. And if you put your attention out into your life, your relationships, your home life, your home environment, your work life, your work environment, what you do for fun, what you do for leisure, what you do for your well-being, what you do for the community, your contributions, all of that. And consider all of that. Again, you may be working towards making changes and improvements in any or all of those areas. But if you stop for a second and ask yourself, what's true now in those situations? And what's true includes what is actually physically going on. It also includes how you feel about it, what you think about it, how you assess and judge it. It includes the comfort, the discomfort, the fulfillment, the frustration, the anger, the peace, the ecstasy, the boredom, the numbness, everything is all part of the actual experience of what's true for you now. And can you move into a complete state of life self-acceptance in relation to all of that? And by self-acceptance, I do not mean complacency. I do not mean just putting up with it. What I mean is looking at it and lifting off from it any intentions about changing it. And just saying those intentions about making changes, I'm not getting rid of those. I'm just putting them to one side temporarily. I'm just temporarily putting those on one side, just so I can spend a moment in this lived experience right now of myself, of my life, everything in my life, and including my experience of what's happening further away, what I'm picking up through the media and through other communications about what's happening in situations that I'm not directly related to or can't experience direct for myself, how I feel about those, what I think about those, what my energy does in response to those. All of this is part of how we're experiencing ourselves right now and how we're experiencing our lives right now. And if you allow yourself to follow that meditation a little bit deeper until you start to relax and breathe deeply in the moment self-acceptance, wait to see what happens. Wait to see what happens to your energy. In general, when we practice this sort of thing, what tends to happen, perhaps not immediately, perhaps after a few days or a few weeks or a few months, what tends to happen is that our vibration actually shifts through the simple practice of noticing, acknowledging, and accepting what is already true in this moment. It's one of the miracles and wonderfulnesses of being human. We have the capacity to transform our lives through the simple expedient of telling the truth to ourselves about what is the case, what is the situation, what is the status right now. So I'm not going to try to explain to you how that works or why that works. I will say to you, I've seen that work for me and many other people many, 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 many times. And it doesn't matter how many times we experience this. We can always go back and re-experience it and refreshen our connection with it. Because no matter how enlightened you are, no matter how evolved you are, or how ascended you may be, you are still swimming in a sea of conditioning, group mind, cultural imperatives, mind formations, and many of those contain elements around, in order for us to shift our vibration, we have to change, things have to be different. When actually it's the other way around. When our vibration shifts, then things change. We change, our life changes. But it starts with recognizing, owning, accepting, loving, choosing, experiencing, all of that, everything that's true right now. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Have a fantastic week. And I look forward to seeing you next time. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. It really helps if you give a thumbs up, a 5-star rating, a review, and share with your friends. If you're looking for transformational coaching or an intensive transformational weekend workshop experience, I can help with that. You can actually help the show by making a donation. Until next time, take care.